Yo, Op4 TV. I'm your host, Bill from the BX. Today I'm here with my man's straight out the BX. I'm a better godfather than he is, but he's still cool. Introduce yourself, Kane.
Going on, people's Rob James, like I said, from the Bronx. Did a little time in Atlanta too, high school, 21 years in the Army, just here to represent, support.
Yeah, tell us more about your career, because I'm definitely a better godfather than you, and I'm smoking your boots in that aspect. But as far as the military career, you definitely killed me. You definitely had a better career than me, I'm sure. Tell us about it.
So I went to West Point, came out, was a field artillery officer for a few years down at Fort Benning. Switched over to operations research analyst, and all the rest of the career, about the last 13, 14 years was basically on staff, in Korea, Pentagon, all of that stuff.
Nice. That's what's up, man. You enjoy your retirement?
Yeah, trying to figure out what's next. Like we're trying to figure out what we want to do when we grow up.
Yeah. I hear you. How the knees, how the back feel?
Yeah. I'm old. Grade up and old.
Yeah. A lot of salt in there.
Gotta handle them VA claims,
Hey, you been down there?
Yeah, I'm waiting on my VA. Right now.
Champ. You're moving slow, champ.
You're right.
We'll talk to you offline. We're gonna get you straight.
Right.
So Pete, Netflix, Colin, Black and White. We both watched it. A lot of serious points made. A lot of great talking points. You can watch every episode and have an hour-long discussion. But here at Op4 TV, we're a voice for the veterans. We give the veterans an opportunity to speak their minds and speak their thoughts. What did you think about it?
I thought it was great. I think, like a lot of us have probably had to experience during our careers, it showed how much ignorance is out there in the world.
That's
not intentional. A lot of it not intentional, a lot of it intentional, but just a lot of ignorance. So, every chance we get, we got to educate, because we all have had to learn how to live in their world, but they don't necessarily know what world we come from and how we have to live and move. And that highlighted that in every single episode. So it was
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely. In case you don't know what we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, Black and White on Netflix. It seemed like they promoted it as Ava DuVernay directed, but when you leave the credits, Robert Townsend directed a lot of episodes, and he did a great job, really killed it at those guys. No spoiler alerts. We're not gonna talk about anything specific, but man, one of my favorite episodes was when he talked about the prototype. He was struggling as a quarterback, and his father was able to send him to a quarterback camp. And at that quarterback camp, they mentioned a prototype. I think we could relate to that in the military, because a lot of people think, as the military, you just meet your quotas and do what you got to do to get promoted. But, that promotion packet got to get signed off on. And that's whoever signed off on that promotion packet has to look at you as fit to lead, But as a black man, I'm not what they see when they look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad and unfortunate, that people get skipped over, people miss out on opportunities. And I'm not saying that they just miss out on opportunities just because they're Black, but because they're Black and somewhat misunderstood, because our cultures can be so different.
Yeah, easily. That shows up in the evaluations. It just shows up on, the paper test. I think I was watching, All American, another show. They got the paper test. You got to get the I think it was the eye test or whatever. You don't look like me. You're not the same branch as me. So it affects, it affects Black soldiers, affects female soldiers.
Definitely.
Affects non-combat armed soldiers. Obviously, as Sergeant Major Army, they always want an infantry guy.
Yeah.
Why? Is the infantry guy automatically a better leader? Not necessarily at all. But yeah, that's their prototype. Prototype is a white male combat armed soldier.
Combat armed soldier. Man, you hit the nail on the head. Even to take it a step further than that, there's been studies done. I believe the Army Times did one, and they was talking about how in the military, when it comes to punishment, Black non-white soldiers get more severe punishments than white soldiers. And it comes from the commander. The commander, he's the one who dishes out the punishment. And at the same time, if he can see himself in that soldier that's receiving the punishment, it probably was not going to be as harsh as somebody he can't see himself in.
Yep. If you can see it as just, if you can see that person as yourself, you can see why you would have made that mistake. But if it's somebody else and they look a little different, um, then it was intentional.
Yeah,
If that person could be your child, then you're gonna be a little different on that person than if it's, you know, that person looks nothing like you.
man,
And you may assume the worst instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt. And like, I mean, that's the key word right there, benefit of the doubt. And, you
benefit
know,
of the
you just
doubt.
don't get it.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt. Man, what are some other portions of the throughout the what is it, 8 episodes that you enjoyed? Some things that you saw and highlighted.
Uh, I I enjoyed again seeing how they kind of portrayed the mom. I enjoyed is complex in the way I enjoyed it. It was that you could kind of tell he wasn't trying to make his mother look bad, but it was a lot of ignorance. Some that she perpetuated by probably not studying, but then there were also parts in the show where you could tell she was trying to educate herself and get more comfortable, you know, for the good of Colin.
Yeah,
And that's just something that, you know, needs to be done more often. It's a and that was inside the household, but it's an empathy
hmm
thing. Like we just
yeah,
need to, you know, people need to be a little more empathetic and try to understand what their soldiers are going through that don't know, like that don't didn't grow up like them, don't know what
yeah,
they know and know a whole different world than they know. So we come into the same world, being the army, and we're supposed to be equal. And again, some look at it through what a rose-colored glasses or whatever, and think
yeah,
that we're all green and we're all, but everybody came from different places, and where we come from is not the same America that a lot of these people in charge know.
yeah,
So, like
yeah.
an example that I think about, I worked for a 4-star, won't name his name, but he was from Oklahoma, so you can figure out how to do some research. But his accent was on like 1,000. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, he just sounded like a bumpkin, real smart guy, but he sounded like a bumpkin. But he 4-star general in charge, and I know, like, if we talk, like, we'll talk around our friends, you know, then they'll look at us and they'll judge us based on how we speak. You know what I
absolutely.
mean, and not necessarily on our merit.
Yeah,
But you can
yeah.
make 4-star general talking like a bumpkin.
I remember that makes me think about my first duty station in Camp Case of Korea. I was assigned to the finance out processing section. And part of the out processing section, I had to get the finance out processing briefing. There were people there who automatically would say that my accent was being disrespectful. Having a New York accent and standing in front of soldiers and speaking, they expected me to adapt, you know what I'm saying, and have
Right.
more of a southern, you know what I'm saying, a southern accent, which would have been more acceptable. Because there was another soldier who I was stationed with. I'm not gonna, I can say his name. He's gonna be on here eventually. But he was from Alabama, and they loved when he gave the briefing, even though our NCO, our squad leader, hated when he gave the briefing because he wasn't as good. He wasn't
Right.
giving out all the information. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, I mean, one day he sat us both down for counseling and was like, man, if I could just put your voice on him, I wouldn't have to have to worry about this anymore. But it's sad and unfortunate. And always to this day, it makes me think, man, if the Confederacy lost the wars to the Union, why is so many things in the Army built towards the Confederacy?
Base
Like,
names, everything. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Did they really lose? It makes you really think of that. But we're not even here talking about that right now. We're talking about Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying?
right, right. But that made me think about in the show also, again, we're not, no spoiler alerts, but there's situations when you see, you know, young people of color, young Black kids that are, again, assumed to be doing malicious things when they're just being kids,
Yeah,
doing the same things, and even more well behaved than the white kids there. But again, because of their appearance, and again, you can look at it as malicious, but a lot of times it's ignorance and their unfamiliarity with just the way they look, act, dress. It could be just simply hair, right? They're
yeah.
just going to be judged based on that instead of being judged equal to these other kids when behaving, again, more appropriately than those other kids.
Man, one thing I really resonated with me is when the guy told him, "I thought you were one of the good ones."
Yep, at the very end,
Man,
that was it.
that
Yep.
hit me hard because,
Yep.
like I said, you know, and like I said in pre-production, growing up, I was always really militant, but I was really at the same time I was quiet, and being quiet often gets perceived, especially a young Black kid, you're a little athletic, you know, then you're fit, you're a little quick or whatever. It's always gets perceived as you're just ignorant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everyone loves when they, you know, when somebody's ignorant, you can take advantage of them. So I remember one time at a football camp, a guy told me, "Dan, you really one of the good ones." And I was like, you know, I went to Evander, right on Gun Hill Road. You know what I'm saying? So the team, my football team is, you know, saying
on that hard AstroTurf.
Man, listen, it was like your grandma's carpet. That wasn't no AstroTurf, brother. That was grandma's carpet, yo. That shit was rough. But man, but the team, we look like a team, you know what I'm saying? We were some rough looking kids, you know what I'm saying? And when that dude told me I was one of the good ones, I just looked at him like, oh, in the cafeteria. So I was like, I'll take this train, bang it over your head. Boy, you crazy? Because I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, and it's tough. You know, I think we all experienced in the Army. It's like when, you know, and we're a little more free now than in the last decade plus, but it's when you can be genuine to yourself and know when to shut up, but at the same time you got to know when to speak up too. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's an art in itself, and our maturity, understanding when you can and should say something, as opposed to when you should just lay low and you know, use different channels or just let everything slide. And I mean, again, now, yeah, like you said, time is everything, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sir.
I mean, they address that in the show. So when y'all see it, you know, I mean, you'll see sometimes he takes it and he, as he matures, you know, he learns to speak out. And to me, also what stood out to me is a lot of people, Black folks or whatever, you know, have judged Colin Kaepernick, you know, he's a mixed kid, blah, blah, blah. And they, you know, and they don't understand like what made him the man that he is and gave him the view of the world as he sees it. And this did a good job to highlight that. And it's like, you don't have to be, you know, 23 and me, 99%, you know, from Africa, you know what I'm saying, to be Black in America.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like, yes, 100%.
Don't let the light skin fool you.
Man, listen. Like that, I get that all the time. You know, our mutual friend Dreadman, he'll say, "Bill is the blackest dude I know," and I'm like, "There you go." You know what I'm saying? I know he's taking shots. I know he is. You know what I'm saying?
He mad at his little brother for that light skin.
Hey yo, and he got freckles too. He's not even just regular light skin. He's light skin with freckles. Oh my god. That's the craziest nonsense I've ever seen. But yo, man, I want to thank you for pulling up today. This has been Op4 TV. You got any shout outs, anything you want to promote? Anything you got going on?
No shout outs, but appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate your service. You know, keep it up, keep pushing, you know, make it better for us all.
Hey man, thank you for that tidbit. Ignorance over intention. That's the one right there. It's Op4 TV. I'm your host, Bill from the BX. I'm here with my guy, Rob James. We out.